Hi guys, it's markabusi here and we're back with another song reaction, and today we are doing the song Frankenstein by Edgar Winter's group, which is not an easy name for me to say, to be honest. I've absolutely no idea who these guys are, but we're gearing up for Halloween and they've got a song called Frankenstein, and that 100% in my head fits the bill. So we're going to go in and we're going to listen to it. We're going to decide, is it spooky, is it any good, and then at the end we're going to throw it into the emo scale and decide how emo is it. So stick around to the end for that. So far, what I'm getting for this is the keyboard player from The Doors. He's come out of his recording studio with Jim Morrison and that, and he's went across the hall where Rush were in the middle of recording and went, guys, Jim's being nasty to me and not letting me play my keyboard solo. And they've went, don't worry mate, you can come in here and play your keyboard solo with us. We're just jamming the new anyway. They've basically recorded a 10-minute long keyboard solo. It's a good keyboard solo. The guy's really good at what he's doing, but it's also a 10-minute long keyboard solo played by a guy who looks uncannily like Jimmy Savile, which is where I'm assuming the Halloween element of this is coming in. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. It's not a 10-minute keyboard solo. The fuckers just broke out a saxophone. I assume now it's just going to be like 5 2-minute segments of him getting increasingly more absurd instruments to just go, here's the next solo that we're doing, whilst Rush are in the background going, Jimmy, they're waiting on you next door, mate. fucking right. I didn't think he was going to go and switch over to drums, but he is. He's just gone. He's just gone to various instruments every couple of minutes. I think now we're going to get like a massive drum solo. I suspect. I suspect next is the tin whistle. They're clearly very, very talented musicians. This feels a lot more like jazz to me than it does like rock music. It feels like they're playing jazz on rock instruments. This kind of reminds me a bit of like Miles Davis. But if you substituted the guitar for a piano and made the drums jazz drums rather than rock drums, but structurally and thematically, it's jazz. Actually, you know what, right? It's the 70s and they are a rock band who are playing jazz. So this entire time I have been sitting here, in my head I had made up a genre of music called heroin jazz that I had been forever thinking, how would heroin jazz sound like? At one point I want to start a heroin jazz band and create my new genre of music, and it turns out these fuckers beat me to it like 50 years ago. That's hard to take, I'm not gonna lie. There was a time, right, where I was buying a steak pie, but it's like a Scottish steak pie, which is different from a normal steak pie because it's got, well, like a foil base that the pie then sits in, and instead of like a short crust pastry, it's got like a puff pastry lid that just kind of sits on the top. That's what a Scotch steak pie is. It's different from a normal steak pie. I once had the idea of substituting the beef gravy that would be inside that steak pie with peppercorn sauce, and I thought that was absolutely fucking genius for me, and I was going to make millions from it. A few weeks later, I seen a steak and pepper pie where somebody had done that exact thing, and I thought that was devastating, but I didn't really know devastation until this moment. What just happened? There was a part, maybe about 3 minutes in, where the bass player, the guitarist, and the keyboardist were all playing the exact same thing. The bass player and the guitarist had been playing a kind of backdrop for the keyboarder to be soloing over. Suddenly, all three of them switched into the exact same thing for like a minute. And they just kept on repeating that same bit. Which, with how flawlessly that was done, that means that that entire 10-minute thing was composed, including the bit at the end where it went completely fucking batshit crazy and he basically just attacked his synth. That's nuts. Taking into account that you can tell that entire thing was actually sat down and like thought out. They might have like done passages separately and put it together, and that might be why it's called Frankenstein. But that whole thing, at some point, in some way, was composed on a technical level. That's astonishing. Like, on an intellectual level, that's one of the most impressive songs that's been on this channel. But on an emotional level, it felt a bit meandering. I don't know, it's gobsmacking when you're watching it. It's like astonishing when you're watching it. I would never actively go out of my way to sit down and listen to that deliberately, because it's such a tough listen. I listen to music on this channel to challenge myself, but in my personal time, I don't particularly want to be challenged by music, unless I'm in the mood to get challenged, in which case I'll put on the Mars Volta. That was just a bit... that was wild. To the point where I can't even begin to start breaking it down. I'm assuming the main guy is Edgar Winters, who it turns out is one of the most musically talented people I've seen. The way that he went and just started just grabbing random instruments and was then flawless on all of those instruments is ridiculous. But did I enjoy it? I don't know. I'm more impressed by it than I am enamored by it. But yeah, like as a fucking calling card of showmanship, that's probably the most technical song that's been on this channel, and I'm including like Xanadu and all the rest of the fucking Rush songs. Like that was nuts. I will say, in terms of scariness, not that scary. But where does it land on the emo scale? Well, there was no singing, so singing's down about here. Twinkly guitars, put it about there. That's where Edgar Winter's group lies on the emo scale. Let me know in the comments below, guys. Did you enjoy that song? Did you not enjoy that song? Yeah, that's it. That's really... I've got nothing to add to that. That was just mental. It was mental. I need a minute. I've been markabusi. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.